Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ask the Nanny live on TikTok. How is everyone doing today? Let me turn my ringer off so that I can concentrate and focus on everyone coming in. Today, I am going to be talking about picky eaters. I hope my lighting is okay. And feel free to ask questions along the way. Let me scoot up so I can read the questions. Okay, so feel free to ask questions along the way. I'm going to dive in. We're going to be talking, like I said, about picky eaters. Now, mealtime should be about a pleasant experience and not a tug of war. And I say that because you get more out of your children when you're sitting down with them, you're having dinner, you're talking, they're experiencing new foods, instead of you saying, okay, take another bite, and your toddler or child is in there like, no, I don't want that, I don't like that. Being defiant. When you set the mood for the meal, it becomes more pleasant. Instead of you trying to get them to eat more, just talk to them. Even your toddler, talk to them. Ask them about their day. You may get gibberish back, but they will talk to you. And as they eat, as you're talking, they're eating. And it's not about what's on my plate. It's about the atmosphere that we have around dinner. If dinner is always a tug of war, it's going to become a habit of being a tug of war. Mama's going to give me something. I'm not going to like it. I'm going to refuse to eat it. I'm going to pitch a fit. I'm going to spit it out. And it's going to push mommy's buttons and she's going to give me what I want. Well, I'm not a fan of Burger King style meals. And I say Burger King style meals because their logo is you can have it your way. I'm not a short order cook. As a nanny, as a parent, as a grandparent, I don't do short order cook. Whatever I cook, it goes on the table. And if you want to eat it, fine. But if you don't want to eat it, it's still fine. But what I do is a compromise. I know what my kids like to eat. I will put 2 things that I want them to eat on their plate and 2 things that I know that they like on their plate. And I change up those things that they like so it won't be the same thing every time. But I don't demand that they eat. Children are going to eat when they want to eat. If you are sitting and you're having a pleasant conversation, normally they're just picking up their fork and they're just going like this. And they get to something that they don't like. No big deal. If you don't make it a big deal, they won't make it a big deal. But as soon as you make it a big deal, oh, take a bite. You haven't even tried it. Don't stress yourself out, because when you get stressed, it pushes up the stress level at the table. If you're stressed, they're gonna feel it. They're gonna become defiant. It's gonna be back and forth. You don't want that. You want them to eat. And the best way to do that is in a pleasant environment with no pressure. Children are going to eat. It's your job to introduce the foods to them so that they will have a variety of food with a variety of colors. Most kids like the white foods. And when I say the white foods, it's pasta and bread and butter, because they like the butter on their bread. It's anything that has to do, it is carbs mostly. And carbs are good. They're not a bad thing. But too much of one thing can become bad. So do it in moderation. But do it so that it's not it's not going to be a hassle. Also, don't be afraid to try something more than once. If you as an adult, you got your mindset, I'm going after work, I'm going to get me this juicy steak, and I'm going to have a baked potato and all the fixings and everything with it. And you get there to the store and they're out of steak and all they have is chicken. And you say, well, okay, I'll take the chicken. Your brain is set on that steak. So that chicken, as good as it is, it's not going to taste good to you because your brain is stuck on that steak. Your children have the same type of brain. They know what they want to eat, but because of the way that this is not what I want to eat. I want a peanut butter and jelly, and you're feeding me tuna fish. I don't want this. I don't like it. And they've eaten it before. They'll say they don't like it because that's not what they want. Sometimes they don't have the right words, depending on how young they are. Sometimes they don't have the right words to tell you, Mommy, this is not what I wanted to eat today. But that's why I say put something on their plate that you know that they will eat. And that way you know your child is not going away from the table hungry. They will have something to eat, but also put something on their plate that you want them to eat. Now the next thing is get a child-sized plate. These big plates, parents tend to put too much food on there. If you get a small size plate, you put smaller portions on it. The bigger the plate, the bigger the portions. And kids see this as overwhelming. This big plate with all this food, and Mama expects me to eat this. Nanny expects me to eat this. Daddy expects me to eat this. Or Grandma expects me to eat this. Too much food can be a big problem too. And when kids have too much food on their plate, they don't want to eat any of it because they become overwhelmed. Think about it as, say, medicine that you hate taking, but you know you have to. And somebody comes and gives you a double portion. And you're like, no. I just one. I don't want all that. I take one dose, not two. You get upset because it's too much. Well, your kids are the same way. I'm guilty of offering too much. Yes, start out with small portions, and if they like it, they will ask for more. Oh, well, congratulations. I hope you take the job. If it's a right fit for you, I put it like that. Is $200 a week good? No. Are your bills $200 a week? Do your bills equal up to $800 a month? $200, if you count it, depending on how many hours you are working, and depend on your, it depends on your state as to what their minimum wage is. Your salary has to at least meet minimum wage. So if your salary, if you're working 40 hours a week and you're only getting $20, you're working for about $2 an hour. And have them to pay you by the hour and not by a salary, because nannies are domestic workers and we work by hourly rate, not by salary. And anything over 40 hours per week is overtime, a time and a half. That is the law. And if you check with the Department of Labor, they will tell you that. So make sure it is at least your state's, what I just said it. I can't even think. Okay, I lost my train of thought. But make sure that minimum wage, that's what I was trying to say. Make sure that it is your state's, at least your state's minimum wage that they are paying you hourly. At least. And most nannies who are starting out, even with little experience, make at least $10 to $12 an hour, depending on where you are. Yes, thank you. Minimum wage, thank you. I couldn't think. And yeah, it depends on how many hours you're working for them. Let me see if I missed. Okay, so I have 2 new messages. Okay. How to offer veggies so they enjoy them. Around 1.5. Okay, so right at 14 months old is when your child starts to get to that picky stage of, I don't like this and I don't like that. try cooking it different ways. Look online. There are so many recipes. I have, my kids loved spaghetti. They love spaghetti, a white food. And I would take my favorite marinara sauce. I would add zucchini, spinach, carrots, red and green bell peppers, onions, garlic, fresh basil. All this are fresh vegetables. And I would cook it in the marinara sauce. And then I take my immersion blender and I chop it all up so all they see is sauce. I'd add some meat to it because they like the meat in the sauce. I'd add some meat to it, and then I would serve it over their spaghetti. They don't know because the basil, the oregano, the thyme, the onions, and the garlics has taken over and overpowers the flavor. The Italian flavors overpower the vegetables, so they don't even know it's in there. Sometimes it takes being very creative with your kids' snacks. If you look online, you can find some creative ways to make little celery sticks with little peanut butters and put little raisins on top, and they will eat it. The next thing is let them help you make it. If they're 1.5, I started cooking with all my babies around 9 months old. They could hold a spoon and I just helped them stir it. We would make, every Thanksgiving, we would make cranberry orange bread for the family, and they would stir. I let them have it, and then I would put them a big shower curtain liner on the floor, and I give them a plastic bowl. I take some of the batter, put it in a smaller bowl, and let them stir. Let them go at it. They could taste it. As long as they weren't allergic to it, they could taste it, and they could do whatever they needed to do to it, and they would play in it. So I would take most of the batter, put some of the some water in their bowl and mix it, and they would just mix it, and we were both mixing it together. And they eat better when they make it because they become a part of it. Also, if it's possible, start an herb garden or plant some strawberries or blueberries or something small, or tomatoes. Go from the seed to watching it grow, help them, let them take care of it, let them water it. If they are responsible, if they have a part in the growing, they're going to want to have a part in the eating. Even if they don't like it, at least they will taste it. Take them grocery shopping with you. I know, that's a hassle. Yes, it is a hassle. When I had my home daycare, there was a Walmart right up the street from me, and they used to call me the baby lady because I would take my kids to the grocery store with me. I had 5 kids in my daycare. We'd load up the van, all of us go to the store, and they learn when you go to the grocery store. I need 5 bananas. It's 5 of them. So everybody grabs a banana. Well, what color is the banana? It's yellow. Well, what letter does banana start with? B. Okay, so how long is your banana? Is your banana longer than hers, or is yours shorter? Those are unconventional teachable moments that you can have with your child. Make it fun, but make sure that you have plenty of time when you go to the grocery store, and it's not around nap time, because that's when they get cranky and they don't want to cooperate, and you just have a miserable time. So try to go early when they get up, when it's doing their playtime, and take them and let them explore. Let's get some oranges. What kind of oranges do we want? Let them pick out fruits and vegetables. And when they pick out fruits and vegetables, get a small one, get one of them, because they may or may not like them. If they like them, take them home, let them try it. Cut it up for them. They have plastic knives and plastic, they sell them on Amazon. They have plastic knives and they have plastic cutters for kids that want to cook. And I've bought several sets of, and get them a little apron. Make them feel like they're a part of the process. And when they become a part of the process and they become a part of the cooking and the eating and the adding, they will eat it. I had a little boy who loved smoothies. But every time he saw something green on his plate, so I had a variety of fruits and vegetables, and on a plate, we went to get a smoothie. We put our yogurt in there. We put some milk in there. Okay, what do we want? We got bananas. We have strawberries. We have spinach. We have oranges. We had kiwi. And he said, I want the leafy things. Okay, well, let's put some leafy things in there, which was the spinach. And he said, oh, banana. We got to have banana. Now he's 2.5, so he put the banana into the blender, and I said, would you like some strawberries? No. I said, you want some kiwi? Yeah, I have a little bit of that. And he dropped one in there because I had it all sliced up. And I said, okay, is that all we want in here? He said, yeah. We closed the top. He hit the button. I said, okay, now I wonder how it's going to taste. Get excited. When you get excited, your kids get excited. They become curious and they want to know it's like an experiment. You don't know what it's going to taste like. What's your theory? Do you think it's going to be sweet? Do you think it's going to be crunchy? Do you think it's going to be sour? Teach them all about the food that they are eating. If it's a lemon, yes, how does this lemon taste? Do taste tests. Just at snack time, have taste tests of different things. I'm cooking dinner tonight and I'm wondering what I'm going to cook. But I need some ingredients that are going to taste bitter, something that's going to taste sweet, and have them to do that, go through the taste test with you. They become a part of the cooking process. And because they got to choose what went into the food, they will try it and to eat the food. Again, they may not like it. Try it again another way on another day. But they will probably, because they get to be a part of the process of, I went to the grocery store, I got to pick it out, now I get to peel it, I get to help cut it, I get to open it up, and let's see what color it is. I bought some blood red oranges, and the kids thought it was going to be orange inside. When they opened it up, I asked them, what color do you think it's going to be? Do you think it's going to be orange? Do you think it's going to be purple? Do you think it's going to be red? Do you think, what color is going to be yellow? Ask them questions. Ask them open-ended questions. Ask them, get excited and let them be a part. When I open that orange, they're like, oh, look at it. I said, yeah. What color is it? Part of it's red and part of it's orange. I said, I wonder if it's sweet or if it's sour. I wonder what it's going to taste like. I said, who wants to go first? Me. Everybody wants to go first. I said, okay, let me slice it, and then we'll all try it together. And we all took a slice. I said, okay, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, and then everybody ate a piece of the orange. And because all of us were eating it and all of us were participating, there was no, I don't like that. And then the next person said, I don't like it either. Oh, I don't like it either. You don't have that problem because everybody's trying it and everybody's doing the same thing. Hold on. I had some questions. Let me scroll back and see. Let's see. How many hours a day are you working for them? Any suggestions on how to offer veggies? Okay, we're talking about that. Ways of entertainment without TV or screens in general. Hang on a second, I'll come back to that. Oh, and you're welcome. I'm glad it helped. My son is 1 now. What should his diet be at this time? He has 3 teeth on top and 3 on the bottom. Anything that he can gum down, kids will eat a lot of things. If you make him broccoli, make sure you steam it and it's soft enough for him to chew, because his gums are at work. I would not give him too many purees because he's a year old and he needs to know how to use those muscles in his mouth to chew his food. I was the same way. My son didn't get in teeth until he turned 1. So it was difficult. But anything that you are feeding him, make sure that it is soft enough for him to chew it up enough to swallow. I would, if you're getting potatoes, cut them in like little bite sizes, big enough for him to take it and bite a piece off of it and chew it up. Potatoes are good. Vegetables are good. I would try meats, ground meats with him, because that's easy enough for him to gum and swallow. Let's see, any vegetables, as long as, like I said, as long as it's soft. If it's apples or something hard, I wouldn't necessarily give him a whole. I would slice it thinly. Not that he can't have it, but I would slice it thinly so that he could chew it up better. Because if you give him like a slice this thick and he only has three teeth, kids like to shove, and he'll bite off half of that apple and he has nothing to chew it with, and he'll try to swallow it. And their esophagus is about this big, about the size between a nickel and a dime. That's how big their esophagus are at one. So you need something that he can readily chew up and swallow. Okay, at how many months do you recommend I give my baby Gerber? Okay. I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack on this, but I don't like Gerber, or I know it has its place, but I see it this way. I know they say that this is fresh and it has all this stuff, is no added sugars, no added preservatives, no added. Okay, so it had to get packed at the company and then at the warehouse, and the warehouse had to ship it out to the stores. And it probably had to wait till all that truck got filled to go to the stores. And then it gets to the stores and it sits on the shelf. It's waiting on you. So then you go and buy it because it's been sitting on the shelf for about a week or so when you come and buy it. And then you go and you take it to your house and you put it on your shelf. And then how long does it sit there before you feed it to your child? But it has no preservatives. It has no added sugars, no added anything. Well, something had to be in it to take it from the warehouse on the truck to the store to your home. So that's going to take about 3 weeks. Now, tell me, what piece of fruit do you have at your home that can last? Well, an apple can probably last that long, but then by then it's kind of withered. What piece of fruit do you know that stays fresh on the shelf that long? That's why I don't like Gerber. I prepare my kids' baby foods. There are plenty of recipe books out there. You don't have to have anything fancy. A blender, an immersion blender, or just a regular blender, and some water and fresh vegetables, fresh whatever it is, and you can cook it in bulk. And what I do is I take ice trays, especially for the newer babies, because some pediatricians say you can start feeding them at 4 months. Some say 6 months. Check with your pediatrician first before you start feeding them. So I always wait on my parents to check with their pediatrician. I don't want to say, well, oh, he's 4 months old now, he can eat. No, that's not my responsibility. I'm not the doctor. I don't know what's going on internally with that child. So if the pediatrician makes a mistake, then that's on the pediatrician. It's not going to be on my watch. I just put it like that. I'm not, there are certain things that I don't do. And if it's when to feed your child, that's something that I cannot tell you. I can say this: most pediatricians start them between 4 to 6 months. Check with your pediatrician. But if possible, feed them fresh fruits and vegetables. You can get ice trays. Make up the food, grind it up, and put it in the ice tray. Put it in the freezer. I have the ice trays. If you just get the regular ice trays, I put plastic over it, take a Sharpie, write what it is and the date that it was made. Once it freezes, I put it in a container and write it on there, the date that it was made, what it is. And that way, when I get ready to feed my babies, I can take a cube of pears and a cube of green beans or a cube of carrots, and I will put them in a little bowl in the refrigerator and let them unthaw in the refrigerator. And that way I have the right amount that I need for my child. It doesn't waste, because if you're dipping into that Gerber jar with that spoon and feeding your baby directly out of the Gerber jar, and then you put it in the refrigerator, it's full of bacteria. It's full of bacteria because your baby's saliva contaminated it. If you're going to use it, pour it into a bowl. That way the part that you put in the refrigerator is still good for a few days, but it starts when the minute you dip it out of that Gerber jar, put it in your child's mouth and re-dip, you have set the cycle of bacteria growing in your child's food. Just say it. So, to answer your question, check with your pediatrician. And as a side note, make your own baby food. It's cheaper, it's fresher, it's to me it's better. It doesn't have any additives, and you know what's going in there because you made it. Now let me see. You can try a tube of blue gelatin with crushed graham crackers. Okay, I'm not sure what that's about. And make it shaped like an ocean. Oh yeah, that sounds good. What are your options on sleep training? What are my opinions on sleep training? Oh, we had this talk last week. My opinions on sleep training are sleep training starts between 5 to 6 months. Sleep conditioning starts from day 1. So just a quick wrap up. Have a semi-dark room, a red light, a mattress that is firm, not a plush mattress, because if the baby can sink into the mattress, it's a smothering hazard. Have a firm mattress that stays, straight. No bumpers in the crib. A sound machine. What else did I say? Sound machine caught me off guard. You don't have to be quiet. Just talk in your normal, regular talking voice. What's done during the day directly affects overnight sleep. So if your child's sleeping on a schedule during the day, it affects the overnight sleep. Also, make sure that your child, if you have a baby, infant, before you try to get them to sleep overnight, to know that they're ready, to check with your pediatrician. Also, your baby should be drinking 2.5 times their body weight. So if your child is 1 pound, they should be drinking 2.5 ounces a day. If they are 8 pounds, that's what? 60, about 20 ounces a day. So depends on how much your child weighs as to how much formula or how many ounces of food, I should say food. Babies are drinking breast milk or formula. It depends on how much your child weighs as to how much they should be drinking throughout a 24-hour period that helps them to sleep overnight. Because that fat milk, the fat in the milk holds in their body heat, helps to hold it, and then helps them to sleep longer. Also, if you are breastfeeding, melatonin is in your nighttime milk. When you get sleepy, your body produces melatonin to help you to sleep. It comes out in your milk. So give your baby your nighttime milk when you pump. If you're pumping write it on your bottle or write it on the bag that it is nighttime milk, what time you pumped it, because your body's producing milk from probably around 9 p.m. to about 6 o'clock in the morning. So be sure you write that on there so you can give your baby the melatonin milk so to help them sleep better. What else on sleep training? Know the difference between a cry and a whine. If it's not a full-blown cry, let them settle. Let them try to work it out. If they're newborn, go get your baby. If they're 3 to 4 weeks, try to let them work it out. I'm not saying, let them stand there and cry. But most of the time, within 30 to 40 seconds, they'll go, ah! And you're like, oh, something's wrong with my baby. And you run in there and you get them. Give them a chance to get that little wiggly. It could have been just a gas bubble moving. And now that the gas bubble has moved, they're done. So, give them a chance. And I think that's the highlights of the sleep training that I did last week. Let me see. I had some more questions. Okay. I think I got it out. All right. Now, back to the picky eating. You are your child's model. You model good eating. And if you are at the table eating junk food, your child's going to want that junk food. He's not going to want the nutritious vegetables and all the good stuff that you just gave him on his plate. He's going to want that hamburger, that hot dog, those ribs, or whatever it is that you are eating. My mom used to call me a little bird. She used to call us little birds because we would look at our plate, look at her plate, look at our plate, look at our plate, her plate. And we're like, we want that. What we didn't understand was we were eating the same thing. She had just chopped it up in smaller pieces, but it didn't look like what she had. So she would end up giving us little pieces of it, but it got us to eat. She didn't make a big deal out of it. She just said, okay, little bird, here you go. And she would give us all of our, a little portion of her meal. But she would always put extra on her plate because she knew we were going to ask. And sometimes that's what you have to do. If you are modeling good behavior, good food, nutrition to your child, and you have vegetables and you're eating and, oh, these taste so good. I think I need a little pepper with this. And if your child asks for seasoning, tell them about seasoning. Let them put the seasoning on there. Just make sure they don't put too much. But or ask to help them. And a 1-year-old go, I do it. Yeah, they will do it. They will want to do it on their own. Plain and simple. Let them, give them opportunity. I'll get a special child size salt and pepper shaker and put just a little bit in there. Just enough to go on their food so it won't be too salty. And they did it. Sometimes you have to think like your child in order to get them to do what you want them to do. Reverse psychology. Sometimes you have to go there. But if you want results, sometimes you have to stop doing the norm. Is that what's the definition of what is it? The definition of I can't think of the name. My brain, I have worked all day. My brain is on overload right now. But sanity. If you want some sanity, stop doing the same thing over and over again, expecting it to be different. Okay? I had a question back here. Tips for first-time mothers. Okay. Tips for first-time mothers. You don't need everything in the store. That's one thing. I've had most moms, they have a registry, and half the things that you get, you either won't like them, you don't need them, or you'll get duplicates of them So wait until after your shower, after the gifts come in, get the basics that you need for your child. But you don't need everything that you think you need. There are some things, and I will be coming on here every week and demoing things, baby items that I love, that work, that are well, I think they are necessary, and they make your life easier. So if you're not following me, please follow me, and that way you can get all the tips. I put them in my videos. I put them in, and I'll talk about them here on my lives. But also, have a postpartum plan. Everybody wants to come see the baby, and you have to rest. Have a plan for when a time frame for when people can come and see you. Because of COVID, you probably don't want people coming to see you. Set up a video, Zoom call, Skype, FaceTime, so they can see the baby at the times when you are not resting. Because it's so important that you get your rest, because your baby thrives off of you. Especially if you're breastfeeding. Your baby thrives off of you, and you need to be yourself. You need to be well rested, or get as much rest as possible so that you can properly care for your child. And people coming over, have a postpartum plan. Have a sick plan. If you are sick, do not come by, do not call, do not even drop food off to me because COVID. If you're in the household with somebody that has COVID or is sick, wait until they're well and then send food. Get you some friends together. If you have co-workers and they want to do something for you, get you a food calendar, so that you will have meals dropped off either every day or every other day, because you're not going to have time to rest, take care of a baby, and take care of all the other responsibilities that you have at home. Baby is going to add to that. So if you're already busy, make sure you have a food chain, a food calendar, and everybody, you can send it out to everybody that wants to do something for you. That, I promise you, is more important than buying some baby clothes that your baby's going to be in and out of twice, because they grow that fast. I promise you they do. So get your food chain on. Also, make sure you get, if you are going to breastfeed, find you a lactation consultant that can help you breastfeed, because most moms breastfeed and they pump, and they don't know about massaging your breasts, and they don't know about the high milk. And when I say high milk, that's the milk that has all that fat in it. And most of the time you'll pump until you're like, okay, well, I'm done. No, you're not done, because you probably still have some milk in you, and it's the first milk that comes out, it has like a little bit. You can see it on top of the bottle. It's like this much. When you got all the milk out of there, that's like cream. It's like butter that came out of you. That's the fat that your baby needs. So get you a good lactation consultant so that they can show you how to get the most out of your pumping and the most out of your breastfeeding. And even if you breastfeed, pump afterwards, because there's still milk in there, and it's beneficial to your child. Okay. And let's see, another first-time parent tip: the books that you are reading are guidelines, not the gospel. Your child can't read those books, so your child is not going to be exactly like that book says it's supposed to be. Those are guidelines to give you a clue as to this is going to happen in your child's, within the first few weeks of your child being here. Not at 6 weeks, your child should be doing this, this, and this. And then you're going to think, my baby's behind because he's not doing all this stuff. Each child is different. They grow at their own pace. They have their own personality. They are individual. Stop measuring your child by the book. Use the book as the guidelines. Now, if it's 5 or 6 weeks behind what the guidelines say, then talk to your pediatrician, because there may be an underlying problem as to why your child is not growing or being developing the way they should. So those are some tips. I will come up with some more tips and create a video about tips for first-time mothers. Let's see. Hi, do you have any foolproof tips for healing bad diaper rash? Okay, so yes and no. I say yes because my grandmother did it when my baby, who's 34 years old now, she used scorched flour on him and a little bit of Vaseline, and it made like a paste. And within like 4 or 5 hours, his skin, it was red and raw. His skin started healing. Now, before you do that, check with your pediatrician, because that was an old remedy. That was 34 years ago. I'm sure that they have diaper rash creams that work. Some of them are prescription. I do like butt paste, Boudreaux's butt paste. I love that one. It is closer to the healing process that I like with the concoction that my grandmother came up with. I do like that one. Triple paste, I like that one too. Oh, I went over this last week. Also, there between diaper changes, use a diaper cream that is a preventative cream. Some people use the butt paste as a preventative cream. Some use A&D ointment. Some use Aquaphor. There's Eucerin cream. Eucerin cream is good too. Excuse me. And they also, if you don't know, Aquaphor has a spray, so you don't have to get it all over your hands. Aquaphor has a spray now, and get you a paddle, so you won't get it all up under your hands. This is made by, it's called, some of them call it a bum bum, but it looks like a little paddle, and it has a suction cup on the bottom. So what I do when I'm changing a child's pamper, I always scoop out or put the cream on there, put the suction cup down, and the cream is ready. So when I get done, I just pick it up, slather it on her little tush, and then put the pamper on. And before I put the pamper on, if there's something still on the paddle, I just wipe it inside the pamper, because it's already on their little tush. No sense in using it. Protect them from their pamper, because you don't want their pamper to stick to them, and it protects them from when they poop, the acid that may be in their urine, whatever the case may be. Prevention is an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So preventing the diaper rash is just as important as healing the diaper rash. So I hope these tips were helpful. My daughter is 3. Okay, hold on. It jumped on me. Let me scroll back. Okay, my daughter is 3. I'll take any tips to get her to eat. I'm doing Pediasure right now to help her. Yes, Pediasure is good too. But also, if any supplements that you're giving your child, check with your doctor first to make sure that they're not allergic to it, the side effects of it. Have a goal in mind when you're giving it to them as to what, when do I stop giving her this? When do I stop doing it? But for a 3-year-old, let her help you make the food. Let her help you prepare the food. Now, this is going to take patience. It's going to take a little extra time on you. But when you have time, let them help you cook. Let them help you bake. Let them help you, even if it's just sprinkling the cheese on top of the lasagna, or sprinkling the cheese on top of the pizza you're making, or whatever the case may be. And give them choices. Would you like green beans or would you like peas? Would you like carrots or would you like butternut squash? Give them choices. Buy a variety of foods. Give them choices. You're going to eat all the food before buying it more, but I'll give you a choice as to which one you want tonight. Which one we're going to cook tonight. Try cinnamon. Goes well with butternut squash. Goes well with carrots. I boil some carrots. Put a little onion powder in there. Put a little cinnamon in there. Put just a little bit of sugar to bring out the sweetness. And when I say a little bit of sugar, I'm talking about like half a teaspoon in the water when you're boiling it. It helps to bring out the sweetness. And then put a little salt. Those are some good carrots. And it's different than just steamed carrots. Kids like flavor too. You like flavor on your food, they like flavor too. Just don't go overboard in the spices because some kids don't like a whole lot of spice. Dips, ketchup, create a dip, ranch dressing, whatever the case may be. Kids like dipping foods. Now you might catch them, dipping and licking and dipping and licking. So just put a little bit on there. And, just tell them, okay, well, you're down at the bottom of your sauce. I guess you have to eat your food. And leave it alone. Don't try to make them eat because, and switch the snacks that they're having. I know it's easy to give a cracker. It's easy to give goldfish because that's what they like. Switch up to fruits. Switch up to things that, and create little, I take apples and I cut them in half and I cut little triangles out of them and I put peanut butter across there and put little raisins on or coconut, slices of coconut on there and make dinosaur feet. Kids love fun stuff. Take some toast and some peanut butter. Create a fox, create a bear, create a pig. Take some fruits and vegetables and create some fancy toast. And let them help you because they will eat what they help make. So I hope that helps with your 3-year-old. I have twins, premature baby girls, and they are 7 months old. One baby weight is 6. Twins are never going to be the same. I don't care if they're identical. I've worked with 38 sets of twins to date in my career. That's almost one set a year. And they're never the same. If they are, their personalities will be different. They have a language. They can look at each other and just start laughing. You have no clue what they're thinking about, but they know. And I always say, they think on one brain. And I honestly believe it's true because we get to the park, one twin goes this way, the other twin goes that way. And they look at each other, they smile, and they go, pew! My solution to that, catch the fastest one first. Because the slower one is going to be toddling along. And the fastest one that can get away will be gone by the time you catch the slow one. So catch the fast one first and then go catch the slow one. But your babies are not going to be the same. They're not going to weigh the same at any time. I think that's what you're asking me. And you said kilograms. Hold on. You're going to make me pull my phone out to convert that to pounds. But yeah, another thing with twins, please don't compare them to each other. Well, she's not doing this and he's not doing that. Let your child be an individual. Let your child develop at their own rate. Even if they are twins and one will start walking sometimes 4 to 5 months before the other one starts walking. But when that one that's walking comes by, snatches up a toy and runs, it will encourage the one that's not walking to get up and move. Because I want my toys. I'm tired of you taking my toys. It happens in every twin relationship, every twin Every set of twins, there's one that's faster than the other one. Or one is doing something that the other one doing. And they will flip-flop. When one is starting to roll over one week and the other one is trying to sit up, the next week it'll flip-flop. The other one is trying to roll over and this one's trying to sit up. So that flip-flop, they will do that all their lives. So just expect that, well, she's doing this week, she's doing that next week. It will happen all their lives. They are growing and developing and competing with one another, but just because they compete with one another, please don't put them in competition against each other. And when I say that, I mean in a serious manner. Playing, doing games, that's one thing. But comparing them and making and passing judgment and talking out loud about it, it messes with your child's self-esteem. Well, he's not doing this, and I don't care if you're on the phone talking to mom, dad, or whoever, your child is listening. You don't think children multitask better than adults. Don't have the conversations that your concerns, voicing your concerns about your children, especially when your children are in the room. They hear you and it affects them. Oh, mama thinks I can't do this, but I can. So I'm going to keep letting her do things for me. And your child will play you until you figure out, what? When did you start doing this? And they're looking at you like, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm just going to let you keep doing what you're doing because you told me, or you told whoever was on the phone that I couldn't do that. It messes with your child's psyche when you do that. It also gets them, if both of them hear it, then one twin will start telling the other, well, you can't do this. Mama said you can't do that. And you can't do this. And you do too little for this. And you too little for that. That's a psychological thing going on. I always encourage the children. If I have a concern, I will take mom and dad to the side, out of the earshot of children, and talk to them. When I'm talking to them on the phone, I tell them, turn your speakerphone off. I need this for your ears, not for your kids. I need you to listen, and if you have a negative rebuttal, please text me. Or go in the other room so we can talk freely outside of them, or we can call back later. If you need to be in the room with them, we can call back later. Because the one thing I don't want to do is tell a child, because I believe words have power. And I don't want to tell a child, even if I'm concerned about it and I'm talking to somebody else about it, I don't want them to overhear me and think they can't do certain things and they just stop trying. That's what I don't want to do. So I know I probably answered your question and then some and gave you the who and the what for, but that's just my opinions on it. I have twins. Okay, let's see. I have some other. Whoa. I'm giving her express milk. What should I do? Okay, did I miss the first part of your question? Okay, so if you are giving your child express milk, give her the preemie nipple or the zero nipple. Depends on what bottles you're using. Give them, make sure that you burp them depends on how young your baby is. Make sure that you burp them often because air gets trapped. And if your baby all of a sudden stops drinking and turns their head away from the bottle, that could be an indication of they need to burp, or they're tired of eating, or they're done. Please listen to your baby's cues. Even if you have to go back and feed them, take a break for 15-20 minutes and then go back and feed them later. I worked with a baby several years ago, and she had a tiny tummy. It was genetic. She would get full real quick, so we had to feed her in shifts in order for her to keep her weight up. But when we fed her smaller amounts, but more often during the day. And she was just fine. And she grew up, and we adjusted to her tiny tummy, and we were good. So if you're feeding her express milk, a 0 nipple, because if you are breastfeeding and express milk, a 0 to a 0 or preemie nipple. That's what you need to do as far as feeding her. My baby is expected to have around 750 milliliters to her height and weight, but she is only having 550. Okay. This is one of the things that makes me angry. I know there's a chart, and every pediatrician goes by that growth chart. If that growth chart says, oh, your child's supposed to have this much milk, you have to gradually increase your child's milk. You can't just say, oh, you're supposed to be having 750. Let me shove this bottle down your mouth, and you're going to drink 6 ounces of milk every time we eat. That's not going to work. If you shove all that milk down your baby, that baby's going to spit up, and you're probably going to end up spitting up more than what you would have kept down. That's not good. Gradually increase your child's intake. Gradually. Not all at once. And if they need to eat more often than they are eating, if you want to give smaller portions more often throughout the day to create an increase, then do that. Create that increase gradually, not your doctor says you got to be eating 750 milliliters. Gradually increase. Because all children, again, don't grow the same. They don't know. They don't grow the same, and they're individual. That chart is a general, and it measures the children all around the United States. It depends on where you live, or in UK, wherever you're living. That's what that chart is for. It's like a guideline, not a you got to have 750, because not all kids are the same. You have to look at their genes. If grandma and grandpa are 5 foot and the baby's is not on the chart, and they're only at 25%, well, grandma and grandpa are short, and mom and daddy are 2 inches taller than grandma and grandpa. It's a genetic thing. More than likely, they are going to be little people. They're not going to be tall and, like the big basketball players. They're going to be genetically in line with their family. I'm short. I'm one of those little people. My boys are all taller than me. 6'4", 6 foot. I'm 5'4". They definitely didn't get it from me. So, but I had I have short people, little people in my family line. So that's where I got mine from. But their dad has tall people on his side. So it's all genetics. You have to look at the genetics and put it in perspective as to where your child is, and not expect them to be on that chart, hit that mark. Yes, you want them to be on the chart. Yes, you want them to be growing, but you have to look at your child's. Is your child steady growing? If your child is steady growing and all of a sudden drops, then you got a problem. But if your child is steady moving up the graph and keeps going and gaining weight and getting taller and growing out of their clothes, the one thing you can tell about a child is if they're growing out of their clothes, they are growing. Look at their heads. Their heads may be, slim and a little oval shape, but then all of a sudden you get this big moon head. They are growing. Their face is changing. They got little chins going on. They are changing. Take a look at your child. Measure your child by your child and not everybody else. Take that graph as a guideline. And again, if your child starts falling off the graph, then you need to go to the doctor and get it checked out. But if your child is steady growing, take the graph in mind and try to increase your child's food and to get to that 50% or whatever percentile that your doctor wants them to be at. But also take into account that you know your child. You know your child is growing. You know what is in your genes. So take that into account when you are being measured. Your children are being measured. Not the mother yet, but TTC. Thank you for this info. You're welcome. Let's see. Uh-oh. Born 36 weeks, 3 days, 27-month-old, one baby, weighs 6. Oh, one baby. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, you don't make me pull out a calculator. Because if it's 6 kilograms, 6, at 7 months old, your baby's the only one in 6 and 6.5, you might want to check with the doctor. Even if they were born at 36 weeks, that 36 weeks is a pretty, most twins are born between 36 to 38 weeks, and they call full term because they're twins, because you're carrying 2. But if they're only weighing, okay, so thank you for that extra information. 3 days, 27-month-old, one baby weighs 6, and one baby weighs. No, it's not okay. Check with your pediatrician about your twins, because now that you gave me that other information, currently the babies are 7-month-old. No, check with your pediatrician. If they're only 6 kilograms, yeah. Check with your pediatrician, please. I have a question. Would you recommend melatonin for kids under 3? Yes and no. Does your 3-year-old take a nap during the day? I need to ask that question. And when I say yes and no, I have had 2 children in my career that were given melatonin, but it was under doctor's orders for a condition that they had. And that's the only reason I think that they had the melatonin. But wait, no, this one was 4 and the other one was 3. Yeah, one was 3 and one was 4. Now, under 3, I would, like I said, check with your pediatrician and see what your pediatrician says about melatonin before you give your child melatonin, because there are several different doses of melatonin, and if you're going to give the milligrams, the amount of melatonin that you give your child has a lot to do with how well they will sleep. But again, check with your pediatrician. I am not a pediatrician, and I am not going to recommend or tell you to do anything other than to check with your pediatrician. I'm not trying to give you advice and you do something and it falls back on me. Thank you. Definitely going to look at Aquaphor Spray. Yes, it works wonders. And Aquaphor works great on eczema. It has it's like a cooling, when you spray it on there, it cools that eczema, because when the eczema flares up, it's like hot. It gets hot. And when you spray that Aquaphor on there, it kind of cools it down. It calms the itching down. So the Aquaphor is great for eczema too. I'm getting induced at 38 weeks because doc is concerned about my kidneys. Do you think it's a good idea? I can tell you about me. I got induced with all three of my babies. One tried to come early and then he was late. The second one, we were having problems with the baby, and he was induced. And the third one was induced too, because he was born during Desert Storm, Desert Shield, and my husband wanted to be here to see him born, and I was right at 39 weeks. And the doctor says 5 days. If he hadn't grown, all he's gonna grow 5 days is not gonna make a difference. So I was induced with all three of my babies. But if your doctor is concerned about your kidneys, I think he's probably trying to save you and the babies, because if something happens to you, it directly affects your babies. But that's a choice that you have to make, and a decision that you have to make for yourself. Me personally, I'll pray about it, get some clarity about it, ask all the questions that I needed, wanted about it. If I felt like it wasn't right for me, I would go get a second opinion. But that's just me personally. That's my thoughts. You do what you feel is best for you. That's your body. That's your baby. Do what you feel is best for you. Don't let anybody tell you different, make you think you're crazy. You do what's best for you, because that's your body and your baby. Let's see. Do I have any more questions? How can I... Okay, every time I go back to catch a question, I keep getting... There you go. Very knowledgeable session. Thanks a lot. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so how can I help my 4-month-old if she's starting to teeth? Ooh. Okay, cold teething rings. I like to take washcloths and put them in the freezer or in the refrigerator. Make sure they're cold. My grandfather used to give us cold carrots. He would freeze carrots. Does your baby grasp things? But the only way you do that is if under supervision, that you're right there. Because if they're teething, that the hardness of the carrot is soothing to their gums. Also, it kind of when they chew, it makes their gums numb. The coldness from the freezer, if they're frozen, it kind of numbs the gums so they feel better. Talk to your doctor because some babies experience a low-grade fever when they're teething, and it's possible to get ear infections from when you're teething because their gums, they're drooling a lot, and they're drooling in their sleep, and sometimes it drools into their ears, and their ears get fluid in them. It can cause an ear infection. And their eustachian tubes, it won't drain, because babies' eustachian tubes go straight across. As they grow, they start going like this, so that way it drains out of their nose. But until then, their eustachian tubes are straight across, and it depends on how they hold their head most of the time, and it won't move. And if fluid gets up in there, and it causes infections in their sinuses, and it backs up into their ears, and then you really have a problem. So I would suggest that you make sure that you check their temperature. Make sure that, because they will run a low-grade fever. Make sure if if the fever goes up, to take them to the doctor because they could have an ear infection. That happened with all three of my boys. They ended up with ear infections because they were teething. There will be diarrhea. So I would suggest that you put some kind of shield, and when I say shield, some cream on your baby's bottom when you change their diaper to protect them from, because the diarrhea will keep coming and keep coming and keep coming, and sometimes it keeps coming and it makes your baby's bottoms raw and sore. So do that. Teething rings, if you have like the little silicone balls, the little bracelets, moms, they have some mom necklaces that you can wear that's also a teething ring. So if you're going out in public and you don't want them dropping a teething ring everywhere, you have it on you. Let's see. They used to make these pacifiers that would get cold, and you let them chew on the pacifiers. They do have some, but I think that's for older kids. They do have some teething rings that are kind of like a horseshoe, and they can put them in their mouth and chew them, and they can chew on both sides. It's kind of like a retainer, but it has like a little rubber. It's like made like of silicone, and they stick it in their mouths. But you can find those on Amazon. But I don't think she's 4 months old. I don't think she's ready for that. And be patient and expect a lot of crankiness. It's hard. If you've ever had a toothache, then you know the pain that she's going through. She's never had teeth and they're breaking the skin. If you've ever had a toothache, those nerve endings that get on your nerves, and when you lay down, they get worse because it's when you're quiet. And all the focus, the pain, you can focus on the pain. But as long as you're active, you can work through the pain. But as soon as you lay down, that pain starts getting to you. And you're like, if you have pain, talk to your doctor about Tylenol and Motrin. If it's acceptable to give it to them. If you want to give it to them. There are also baby oral gel that you can put on the gums. And what else? They have these little teething pills that you can give the baby, but they dissolve in their mouth. So check all of those. What I don't like, and this is just because it's a choking hazard to me, is those amber necklaces. I'm not a fan of those because I can just see baby rolling over, crawling, and it gets snagged on something, because you know babies go everywhere and do everything, and it gets snagged on something, and all of a sudden you got it pulling to the side of your child's, and it's chokes. So I would say all of the above, but some people swear by the amber necklaces, I don't know. I don't like them. I've only worked with one, maybe two babies that had one, but I wasn't there that long. So let me see if I can scroll this slowly so I can catch all the comments. Let's see. I just want him to be healthy. Yes, healthy, fed is best. That's all I'm saying. Fed is best. Just do what you can do. Sometimes just making it through the day. As a parent myself, sometimes just making it through the day is an accomplishment all by itself. And I'm like, yay me. We made it. We're still alive. I remember as a young mom, I said that. And I'm like, okay, now we got to get up and do it all over again tomorrow. So just be as happy and healthy as you can, and enjoy the moments. Because when they get grown and gone, and you become an empty nester like me, you're like, I miss my baby. So, okay, let me see if I have anything else about I think I have covered everything that I have on the picky eaters. Now, I have a demonstration. I promised you all last week. I'm going to scoot back so I won't be able to see your comments. But I promised you all last week that I was going to put up I put up the Swaddles. And I know within a 1 minute video, you're like, okay, what did she do? And you're watching it over and over again. So I'm going to do a demonstration. This is the Halo Swaddle. Now, this is a large, I do believe. Let me see what size it is. No, actually it's a small. Okay. I just have my little bitty dolls. But it's a small. It grows with your child. I have the arms out, but the one thing that I love this swaddle because it zips. Hold on, come here, baby. It zips from the bottom up like this. So when you go to change the pamper in the middle of the night, you can just take their legs out of the swaddle and change their pamper. What I don't like about it is those parents who don't know about the double zip, the zipper from the bottom, is if you hear this in the middle of the night, hold on, let me grab it. Would that wake you up? If you heard that noise in the middle of the night and you're asleep and it's on you. This is the only part of this swaddle that I don't like. I do like that it grows with you. And it has instructions right here on the inside. So it shows you how to do it. When you get the swaddle, it shows you. And you can swaddle your baby with the arms in or the arms out. To swaddle with the arms in, you just close it around them like this and put that around like that. And their arms are swaddled. Now, when they start to roll, you can still use this because the arms can come out. You can take one arm out at a time and put it like this. And the baby has one arm out where they can, push themselves up and turn their head over. Or you can do both arms out and still use it as a sleep sack. So it pretty much grows with your baby, and you don't have to buy 50 million sleep sacks. You already got a sleep sack in your swaddle, and you just close this part up. It still gives them the feeling of being swaddled because this part is tight across their torso and here, but at the bottom they have enough room to kick their feet. And I know this is a poor way of doing this, but trying to handle this, hold this and do this at the same time. Okay. And it's connected on the back. You see that? It's sewn in. So it's connected at this corner. And it's connected on this corner. And at the bottom. So it's all made so that you can use it. Arms in, arms out, and it zips from the bottom for easy access for the pamper. Now, the next one that I'm going to show you is the Woombi, and this is for very, very newborns. I mean, like 1-2 days old, and they don't stay in this one too long. I like this one because it has a zipper here and a zipper here. So if you're taking them out, you can take them out that way. And let me put this baby doll in here so you can see what I'm talking about. So this goes from the bottom. You put it over their shoulder like this. And put that one over the shoulder like that. And you zip from the bottom up. There you go. And this is a Woombi. And your child can feel free to move their arms up or down or however they want to move. It's still roomy enough to move their arms around. Whereas in the other swaddle, their arms are just completely down. So this one gives them room to move their arms around. And let me pull this down so it won't look all crazy on the baby. There we go. Now, in the middle of the night, this zips up. Take their legs out, change the pamper, They're still swaddled here. Hands are not in the way to, you know how babies like to, flail their arms. And there you go. Put them back to bed, a sound sleep. Now, my very, very favorites are called Love to Dream. And I'll show you why. These are good for self-soothing because it will allow the baby to put their hands in their mouth. It has a ridge for teething. Because believe it or not, babies start teething between 1 and 2 months. And the arms go upward into here. If you ever watch a baby, they sleep like this. This allows the baby's arms to naturally go up. It's like a little wing, a little pocket. Let me put baby girl in here. And it has 2 zippers. One that goes up, and this one comes up too, but I'll show you that in a minute. This one comes up just like this. And it has a cover right here for the zipper. See that zipper? You don't want that zipper to come up and catch your baby under the chin. So it has a little cover. Let me pull it down. It has a little cover for the zipper. It keeps that zipper covered. And your baby's hands are like this. And as they grow and they start to self-soothe, they want something in their mouth. This allows your baby to put their hands in the mouth. These little ridges right here, they chew on them. It's hard, it's thick enough for them to chew on to scratch their gums. But it's soft enough for them not to, for you not to worry about it. And there we go. Turn it around. And so this is a small one. This is for like a baby. I think this is for like 6 pounds to 11 or 13 pounds. This is the way they start. And they can move their arms. And it's a natural sleep pattern because they're going to lay on their backs. This is called Love to Dream. And it does come in different colors. But that's just the way that they start. Now, the other one is called Love to Dream 50/50. Let me see if I put the sleeves on there. I did not. Did I? I did. Okay. So this one is called Love to Dream 50/50, which has the same little pockets. The little, when I say pockets, is for the arms, little pouch for the arms. And let me get her dressed. And I'll show you. This one turns into a sleep sack. And again, it has the little zipper cover right here. But baby's arms are up. And baby, it has the little ridges here. Same little ridges as on this one. It has little ridges here. And baby, when baby gets old enough, it's tight in here. But it allows enough kick room at the bottom. So your baby, if your baby is rolling, it allows them to kick themselves over. And when your baby starts rolling and it's unsafe to swaddle, and it is unsafe to swaddle, if your baby is rolling, they do not need to be in a swaddle where they can't use their hands to help them push up so they can breathe. These sleeves come off. And I'm unzipping. I'm going to show you. I'm unzipping it. It comes off. You take your arm out. And this little cuff comes out. I would suggest you start with one arm. Because some babies still have that startle effect. And they'll flap themselves in the face. And it wakes them up. But if you got both arms flap, they will never sleep at night. Let them practice with one arm. Practice during nap time. And then once they get the hang of it during nap time, then it makes it easier for you to do it at nighttime. Now, both of them off. Both hands are out. Just like with the halo, both hands are out, but now it's a sleep sack. And depending on how tall your baby is, this one is for sizes, let me see. This is a medium for sizes 13 to 19 pounds. So 6 to 8.5 kilograms. Now, this right here, you see how it leaves plenty of kick room at the bottom? You see this zipper here? And y'all forgive me, this is for handling the baby this way. This allows you to unzip, take care of the pamper, take the legs out, take care of the pamper. And also they have pajamas. If you see these pajamas, it has a zipper right here that makes it easy access to the baby. So if you get pajamas or a little gown, do all of that. I like it. Convenience. This is convenient because the baby's chest, you're not unzipping this and unzipping the clothes, and then you got to take all the legs out, and the baby's chest is wide open and legs are all out. And when I get cold, I don't know about y'all, but it wakes me up. Baby gets cold and like, oh, it's time to get up, time to play. No. It's the middle of the night. You only want from here down. Soup. Change, done, back to bed. Easy peasy. Anything that's going to make my life easier and get my child back to sleep, that's what I want. So, these are the swaddles that I showed you all besides the regular blanket swaddle. This is an alternative to the blanket swaddle. So, if you don't feel confident in folding that swaddle and your kid's always figuring out a way, being Houdini and figuring out a way to get out of that swaddle, this is another way to get it done. And they are swaddled because this is tight in the middle. You get the right size. This is not the right size for this baby doll, but for illustration purposes, it works because it's tight right here in the middle, and right here where their hips fit, it leaves room for kicking. So babies like feeling that closeness because that's how it was in the womb. And that is designed to give that the best of both worlds. So now I'm going to see if I have any more questions, and then I'm going to skedaddle. And if you haven't followed me already, please do so. If you found this information helpful, please follow me. I see I have a question. Okay, I think I already answered that. Okay, so I'm going to work on a list, a requested list of tips for new parents, new moms. I'm going to work on a list and a video for that. So it will be posted sometime this week. If you all have any questions, if you have any tips, hit me in the Q&A. And if you have anything that you want to see in a video, illustrated in a video, please let me know. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. How do you start? How do you start baby-led weaning? Okay, so I am not a fan of baby-led weaning. That's just me. But the rules for baby-led weaning are your child needs to be able to sit up, able to hold on to things without dropping them for a period of time. When you give baby foods, make sure it's about the size of your finger. They're going to, let me see if I have something. Okay. I was trying to see if I had something short enough to show you how to, okay. I'll use this little lipstick because it's about the size of my finger. Okay. So when your baby, when you're feeding your baby, they're going to grab this end. So they're only going to be eating from here up. because that's what is exposed to them. And they're going to stick that in their mouth. And the rest of their hand is going to be around the rest of that food. So it's going to be a lot of food wasted, but you don't want to cut it in half, because when your child puts their hand around it, there's nothing there for the, and they're going to be, trying to go like this, and they're going to get frustrated because they can't eat it. So make sure it's about the length of your finger, about 2.5 to 3 inches long. And so they can hold it like this, because this is the part above their knuckles is what they're going to be eating. But that's how you start with baby-led weaning. There are plenty of books out there. There's also groups of baby-led weaning moms and dads on Facebook, and they can give you more advice than I can give you about baby-led weaning, because I'm not a big fan of baby-led weaning, and I think I'm only taking care of one child who was doing baby-led weaning. So I know the process, but I have never done the process. So I'm going to refer you to someone who knows what they're talking about. I'm not going to give you all this advice and then you're like, that didn't work. Yeah, no, that's not me. If I'm going to give you advice, it's advice that is tried and true. I have tried it many times before. Baby-led weaning is not something that I've tried many times. So I know the process, but there's a lot more to that. Your baby has to be ready. So check out some groups on Facebook. Dr. Google, as I like to call it. You can Google it. Check with your pediatrician. They will probably know, or can lead you to someone who knows about baby-led weaning and can tell you. There are books out about baby-led weaning. Remember that books are guidelines. It's best to talk to someone who has done it and has experienced it with their children. Talk to more than one person, because every child is not the same. They can tell you their experience and how they got their child started, how they got their child to eat, and what they make, what their children's favorites are. And they can give you some tricks and tips on how to get your baby to your goal in baby-led weaning. I hope that was helpful. You're welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even know what time it is. But I know that I have been on here for at least an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. So I'm going to go and eat some dinner. You all have a great evening. Be sure that you follow me. Hold on. I have a question. What do you advise for us to do when our 1-year-old is biting, hitting, and pulling hair? Yeah, that's a control issue. And you just have to redirect him and explain to him why what he's doing, it hurts. And I hate to say it, because I've worked in a daycare and I've seen children bitten. And the kids had to go home because they bit another child. And the kids become scared of them. And they get the person that's biting says, oh, that's power, that's control. And it may play out differently in their minds, but that's exactly what they see. And it's like, until another child bites them and they see what it feels like, and they're like, that wasn't fair, you bit me. And they scream, they yell, they holler, because the same thing was done to them. And kids have a fight or flight reaction. I was in a daycare where a little boy bit a little girl on her face. And of course, mom was upset. And the child was out of the daycare for a while. And when he came back, the little girl saw him coming towards her. Now, I can't say that he was going to bite her, but I think she was scared. But she went and grabbed his hand, just grabbed it and bit him before we were like, oh! So she retaliated. But the little boy never bit again. I'm telling you this story is because children hit, they bite, and they pull hair, the reaction they get from it is some sort of satisfaction. But until it's done to them, they don't realize that hurts. That's not nice. That's we don't do that. So you have to keep redirecting your child. And when you see they're getting ready to bite, do your best to stop them. Explain to them. And I know they're 1 year old, but they're little tiny humans. And I call them little adults. They understand more than you give them credit for. Now, once you explain to them, don't harp on it and keep going and keep going and keep going and talk to a 1 year old for 5 minutes about biting. That's not going to work. Because after the first 3 or 4 seconds, they're done. Their attention span, you may get a whole 15 seconds. But once the incident happens and they're done, they have moved on to something else and you're still talking about the biting. If they were 3 or 4 years old, then that would be appropriate. But the 1 year old, 15 seconds is all you get to tell them that's wrong, that we don't bite. That's, nice hands. We use our teeth for eating, not for biting other people. So basically, just keep repeating that. Keep telling them that. Keep redirecting him. And if you see he's getting ready to bite somebody, okay, how about we go over here and play with this? Okay, let's go do this. And tell them, don't mention them because they haven't bitten them. Just kind of redirect them. And don't say, no biting, because they haven't bitten anything. And they're like, what are you talking about? I didn't bite anybody. I didn't do anything. You're taking me over here to another toy. So redirect them, give them something else to do. And if they have to have something to bite on, give them a teether. They have, like I said before, they have the teethers that they can stick in their mouth and they can chew on. If they have a need to chew and bite, give them something to bite on. Give them a teethery. Because sometimes they are getting their little molars and their teeth are coming in. And they just want comfort on their gums. So I hope that advice was helpful. And wow, I never knew that. Okay, living in Saudi Arabia, any solution for it? Okay, hold on, I missed something. Are they giving Permalax CMA? I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure what that is, what you're talking about, Princess. She is slowly starting to grasp things. Okay, how many babies have you raised? Oh, Lord Jesus. Let's see. I have 3 of my own. I have 2 stepchildren. I have, when I was working on military bases, I had my own home daycare. I had temporary legal guardianship of about 19 children. Most of them were either dual military or single military. How many children have I raised? Too many to name. Because I've had 38 sets of twins. So that's 38 right there. That's not to mention the singletons that I've had along the way. That's not to mention the kids that I had in my 24/7 home daycare. But yeah, a whole lot of children. If I had to guess, I'd say a good 300 at least. Because I've been doing this for over 40 years. So I would say a good 300. Weight is normal. Are there increased? Weight is normal as there increased one. Okay. So kilograms. Hold on. I don't have a calculator with me. So 1.5 months. So they have grown and their weight is normal. Okay. Well, that's a good thing. Thank you. It's really helping me to understand. But I recently went to the doctor. He said their weight. I'm sure. The doctors tell you about the children's weight because they're not hitting that curve I was telling you about. There's a like a national curve, and if they're 7 months old and they're only 13, 14 pounds, they want them to weigh more than that. Because the 3-month-old that I take care of now, she's at 12 pounds and they're concerned about her weight. So they want them to be more than 13 pounds. And at 7 months old, I would say anywhere between the 18-pound range. So they want them to gain at least another 1.5 pounds or 2 to be at that ideal weight that they want the babies at 7 months to be. Thank you. It's really helping. Okay. I'm a nanny. Hello, nanny sister. How you doing? I'm a nanny and want to know some things to do during tummy time. She's 4 months. Okay, so I just put out a video this week? Monday? Tuesday? Wait. Last week. Okay, this is Tuesday, so it had to be last week. I just put a video out about tummy time. So some things that you can do. Let me grab my baby. Let me pull my baby out of here. And I can show you some things that you need to do with your baby at tummy time. Do the bicycles with their legs like this. Of course, the baby's laying on the floor and you do the bicycles. Do the leg lifts. This helps with the core muscles, and it also helps to get extra gas out of there when they're on their tummy. When they're laying on their tummy, you want their heads to come up. You're strengthening these muscles all across here, the neck muscles, because you don't want them to have bobblehead, and you don't want their heads to go back like that. Now, at 4 months old, I would lay them. Now, this baby's not gonna act right because it's stiff, but I would take their hands, put your fingers in between their fingers, and just kind of gently lift them up. If their head bobbles down like this when you pull them up, if their head bobbles down, they still need muscle strength. So you need to give them more tummy time because you don't want their heads to bob down like that. When you pull up like this and their head drops back like that, when you start pulling, their head should come up evenly with you. And just gently, because you don't want to hurt their neck, but you want to test the strength of their neck. Just kind of gently, take their hands and just kind of pull them lightly. If they pulling their head up and you see them going like this and pulling their head up, and they're like, "Come on, hurry up, pull me up! I can't hold my head up too much longer." Yes, that's one thing you can do with them. You can sit them on your lap. Do the wheels on the bus. The wheels on the bus and the swish, 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 and the doors go open and shut. Sing songs to them. Do finger plays. Favorite stuffed animals. Do little kisses. I'm going to get your cheek. I'm going to get your chin. I'm going to get your nose. I see your eyes and your ears. What about your neck? Oh, I see your shoulder and your fingers and your toes. And as you say those body parts, it's teaching your child about the parts of their body. When you're on the diaper changing table and you pulling their shirt over their head, say, "I'm going over." I always say 1, 2, 3, going over your head, and I pull their shirt over their head. If I'm putting their arm in, and I'll say, "Okay, let's put your left arm in," and then I'll say, "Okay, now we're gonna put your right arm in," and then I do the legs and whatever it's. I like to call it unconventional teachable moments, and I like to call it unconventional teachable moments. And I like to call it unconventional teachable moments. And I like to call it unconventional teachable moments. And I like to call it unconventional teachable moments. And I like to call it unconventional teachable moments. And I like to call it unconventional teachable moments. And I like to call it unconventional teachable moments. And I like to call it unconventional teachable moments. And I like to call it unconventional teachable moments. And I like to call it unconventional teachable moments. And I like to call it unconventional teachable moments. And I like to call it unconventional teachable moments. And I like to call it unconventional teachable moments. And I like to call it unconventional teachable moments. And I like to call it unconventional teachable moments. And I like to call it unconventional teachable moments. And I like to call it unconventional teachable moments. And I like to call it unconventional teachable moments. And I like to call it unconventional teachable moments. And I like to call it unconventional teachable moments. And I like to call it unconventional teachable moments. And I like to call it unconventional teachable moments. And I like to call it unconventional You're teaching them about body parts. You're teaching them left. You're teaching them right. Also, when you do the little onesies, when you snap, okay, let's snap you up. How many snaps do we have? Count them. 1, 2, 3. 3 snaps. Okay, we're going to zip up. Now we're going to zip down. You're teaching them concepts. All these things. So when they hear you talking to them and you're forecasting what they're doing, okay, I'm going to wash your hair now. Do those things during tummy time. Okay, you want to play with the ball, you want to play with Cookie Monster, you want to play with your dog, you want to play with the Sophie giraffe, all those things. Tell them what they're doing. Give them conversation. It helps them with sentence structure. It helps them with critical thinking. It helps them to make choices as to what they want. Do you want to play with the ball or do you want to play with the dog? That's a choice that they make. They have preferences. When they are on their tummies, if they're not rolling over, take their little hand and gently, I'd like to go like this, and if they will take their leg and flip on over. They use those core muscles. That's what you want to work. And go to the other side. Gently pull the arm. Don't yank it and pull them over by the arm, but gently just kind of guide them. And they will either put their arms, flip it on over, or you can take the hand and then put your hand here and support them and roll them over. And then roll them back from side to side. And you take this hand and you roll them over and back. And I do that like 3 or 4 times. And then I'll take it and I'll roll them over. And that's when they really get mad. But have them to practice putting their hands on and lifting their heads up. That's what you want, to lift the head up, for them to press down and lift up, because it's working all of these muscles and they're getting ready to lift up their core, and it gets them ready to put their knees up under them so they can get in a crawling position. So you got knees like this and hands like this, and they're ready to crawl. But those are some things that you can do. Sing songs, dance with them. Babies love music. I have like 4 or 5, what is it called? Go Fish. That's the name of the group. It's called Go Fish. And their nursery, well, I don't say nursery rhymes, the things like the Wheels on the Bus, If You're Happy and You Know It, ABC Song, Pop Goes the Weasel, The Itsy Bitsy Spider, 5 Little Monkeys. All of those songs they have taken and they kind of jazzed them up. So I enjoy listening to it instead of listening to the same little kids singing the same old song every day. It's enjoyable to me too. So I play their music and we dance and we roll. Take the mirror. If you have a mirror, small, big or small, take the mirror. When they're at tummy time and when they hold their heads up, put the mirror in and let them see themselves in the mirror. And most of the time they'll start talking to the person in the mirror because they don't realize at first that that's them. And they'll start talking, which is language acquisition. And when they start, yes, talk to them. Well, who do you see in that mirror? Oh my goodness, is she talking back to you? What is she saying? Is she saying hello? Is she saying goodbye? Does she see your red ball? Don't just say ball, describe the ball. It's a red ball, it's a blue ball. You're teaching colors. Everything I do, every time I open my mouth to talk to a child, most of it is with a purpose. It's not just jibber jabber. It's with a purpose. Give them things to hold. If you have like a rattle, and give them opportunities, because baby will sit there and their hands like this, and I will just put a rattle in front of them and just kind of shake it. And they will kind of try to get their hand and their eyes and their head, the brain to tell the hand to grab this. It sometimes takes time. So I just keep rattling, and they'll touch it, or they'll try to grab it, or they'll knock it out of your hand. But they need opportunities to grab and to grasp, because that helps them when they get ready to hold their bottles. It helps them when they get ready to crawl. Those muscles, those fine motor muscles, all of those things. That's what we're working on, fine motor and gross motor. So that's, let me see what else. But that's pretty much what I do during tummy time. If you have like a little gym, depends on how big your baby is, and there's things hanging down, I put them at their feet where their feet can kick it. So when they are dancing and they kick it and it makes a noise and it moves, it encourages them to kick their feet. That works the core muscles. That works the leg muscles. That's contact. And them being able to kick the item that is hanging down, that is like a hand-eye coordination movement. It is, they have to, the brain has to speak to the leg to hit exactly on point. So you're working those brain muscles and those critical thinking. So all those things matter. All those things help your baby when you're doing tummy time. And I think that's pretty much what I do right now for the 3-month-old. And she's almost 4 months. Don't want to take him out too early. Okay. I think I've answered everybody. And like I said, if you haven't followed me, please go follow me. Look at my videos. Like my videos, make comments. If you have any suggestions, put them on there. I try to read the comments and make comments, and try to respond with videos when necessary. And I'm always trying to create something new and exciting and something that is meaningful, and tell you why I have the kids doing this or why this is that. And so if you have anything, any questions, just let me know. Okay? And thank you all for watching. And I'm going to figure this out this time. I keep getting messages. Okay. Okay. There we go. My fat fingers keep hitting the wrong button. And it keeps doing the wrong thing. Okay, gotcha. All right. Now my phone is stuck.